morning. So in today's video, just like the end of the previous video, my camera was not set up correctly and we have no sound. So the first 4 minutes of this video, I believe, are kind of like a silent film. So I'm going to do a voiceover. Hopefully you guys don't mind this. I've since figured out how to no longer, do that setting, so the rest of the video should be fine. But very frustrating because this is a good video. Starting the day off, we are done planting wheat, so I'm putting the seed tender back in the shed here and getting it stored away for winter. Turn the disconnects off, drain the fuel out of it, and basically getting it ready to store. Also going over the plan for the day. So the plan for today's video, we were going to finish up the beans that Dad was working on when he discovered the guy that had put the fence in our field for his goats. We're working on that farm still. So Dad had roughly 30 acres of beans left on that farm, and then we had about 30 acres of beans on the farm right beside it. So around 60 acres total is what he was wanting to run today. My thought was, why don't you do that, and I'll bring the gleaner over, which is set up for corn, and we'll run the 80 acres of corn we have at that farm. Because there was a chance of rain the next day, I figured this would get us the most efficient day we could get. We get the most done this day. Now, at the beginning of the day, best one tire was coming down because we're having a little bit of issues with one of the tires on our Fendt tractor. So one of the LSWs on it has a slow leak in it. They were coming down to check that out. Basically, they took the tractor tire off the bead and discovered that, well, we had a couple issues. Like the bead was damaged on the left front tire. So it was a very slow leak. We've had it go flat twice. The first time we kind of thought maybe the needle stuck in it. Didn't really know. Pumped it back up and it held air for, until like the other day. So it took about 30 days for that tire to leak down, but it did eventually leak down again. Titan has I think a 2-year warranty. They do have a warranty on those tires, and they said, hey, just go ahead. We'll take care of it. We'll get the best one out there, take the tire apart, and we got a replacement tire coming. So now we have a 850-pound LSW. That's got a bad bead. I told the guys we could make a clock out of it, hang it in the shop. I just don't know if the wall would hold it. Anyways, get this thing straightened up. They put the tire back on there. It held air. So heading back to the shop, I'm going to grab the combine, and then I'm going to head back down to the farm. And while I'm doing this, Dad is getting started running beans. Jeff is trucking for us today, so we got Dad running the Lexion, my brother running the grain cart, I'm in the gleaner, Jeff's in the semis. So for a brief moment in time, we are running 2 crops at the same time because once he finishes the field he's running there, this field over here, Dad can't get to due to the fact that there's corn planted right up to it. So I'm harvesting him a path basically to get to that bean field, and then I was going to park the combine, help Jeff truck a little bit until they finished up, and then we were going to try to hopefully do this cornfield. That was my thinking at the beginning of this day. That just seemed like a good idea to me. Well, shortly after we get started on this cornfield, I'm still loading the first semi. Like I was going to load a truck, and I was going to go dump that corn truck, and then I was going to start hauling beans. Right about here in the video, Dad's combine has a malfunction. And Dad comes with the radio and tells me just to keep going. Come to find out Dad had plugged his combine, and he plugged it pretty tight. So for a little while, Dad hops in the gleaner, and I hop in the grain cart. And that's about the time we get sound back. So we should be getting sound here any minute. So yeah, Dad hops in the gleaner here. I hop in the grain cart. BJ is picking his son up from school. Once he gets back, we kind of do some more shuffling around, work on the combine, and get it up and going. So this field is exceptionally bumpy because we tiled it last year. So still very bumpy. You notice the head is just going up and down constantly. That's the header control, adjusting height based on all the bumps. this is how the other half live. Not too bad, not too bad. So as we're filling up, I'm running slower than he can run. Like he can run, when I was running the combine, you could easily run at 4 to 4.2. I'm running 3.3. Only farmers are gonna realize that that's a big difference, especially when you're loading the grain cart. I'm running slow, that way he can load the cart as he needs to. Nothing drives me more nuts than running the combine, and whenever I stop because the cart is filling up and the cart stops, I'm slowing down because I want the cart to keep moving so I can control where that grain is. BJ's pretty good at it now, but anytime someone different hops in the cab, yeah, we spill some grain when we get in that situation. But in their defense, it's very easy to forget. Like I find myself trying to match his speed all the time, and it's like, oh, we're almost full. He's trying to load the cart. The cart goes a consistent speed. That helps. How you doing? Seeing how the other half live. So Dad is over there working on his combine, and me and BJ run corn. He just asked us to come over and help him for a second. Hopefully that means he's got her back up and running, but I don't know. We'll get. Side note though, we only got about 25 acres left of this field. And then we plugged our head because, you know, good old Capella head, as Dad calls it. There she goes. So once we get up here to the end, we're gonna go help Dad for a second.
Whoever designed it never unplugged it.
That's usually how they use it.
Oh yeah, it's all done on paper.
But at least these are dry and not green.
Yeah, they're dry. They're real, got that fine leaves and all that straw. And
Call Big Mike and ask you if this ever happens on Farm Simulator.
Would vice grips be better?
I've got long needle nose in my truck.
Is that what you want?
It'd be best.
What is happening up there is, on a cloth combine, you have a cylinder that's threshing the crop, and then from the cylinder it gets flipped into a beater that throws it into 2 rotors. So like a John Deere combine, you have 1 rotor. A Case combine, you have 1 rotor. A New Holland, you have 2 rotors. On that, you have a cylinder and 2 rotors. Well, it used to be 10 years ago or better. That was their struggle in green beans, was getting plugged right there at that rear impeller that flips into the rotor. And that's where we're plugged now. But what I think's happened, that combine is getting so much age on it that the pieces on the rotor that grab the material and suck it in have worn out. So basically we need new, they call them elephant ears, I believe, on that rotor to help pull crop in, and well, they're just wore out. Now what's alarming is that combine had a PM done last year, and someone checked that and they said it was in specs, so apparently not, because these beans are anything but green stem. Like they're dead. They're so dead they're kind of fluffy, and Dad seems to think that's why they plug. They're just so dead, there's no structure to them. They're just turning to dust basically inside the machine. But I'm gonna pull this over here and top this truck off. BJ's down in the grain tank now pulling chaff out. I'll probably hop in there next, but we have enough to load Jeff, so that way when he gets back he can go dump his truck. We got about 25 acres left of this 80. I want to get it done tonight, but we're going to try to get this bean combine up and going because, well, we have about 30 very inefficient acres of beans to run down here still. Comes Jeff to grab another one. So while we're stopped for a minute, I'm going to put some fuel. Huh? Oh, I guess we're going to test it. See what happens here. See if it... Nope. Dad told us to go back to harvesting. He said he's going to work with it a little bit longer and then reevaluate in the morning, I guess. We got about 30 minutes of daylight left. The thieves, the corn thieves. Wouldn't you know, the one row that was plugged up on the planter would be the one with the row feeler for the corn head. Actually got to steer this thing. The agony, the agony. Looky there. Says it's working. Now, I doubt he's going to run it tonight because he plugged it, he smoked that APS belt which drives that impeller. I would certainly imagine he needs a new belt. I would think. So this is an 80-acre field. I don't know how much I believe that this monitor is counting acres right, because that right there is probably every bit of 5+ acres. I mean, it's about 1.5 acres down and back, 2 acres, something like that. If that's the case, and we're not counting acres right, but we are counting bushels right, our yield monitor is way off. So I'm very curious to see what BJ's scales are going to tell us that this field's made. That's what we go off of, but I'm kind of surprised. Never had an acre yield monitor lie to me on acres. This is the first time we farmed this field that way, so I don't know. Dad's wrote down that he planted 78 acres, something like that. So I don't know. We've already harvested 79 acres, so not sure what's going on. We're getting to the end.
You're right into it. So it looks like you're going to finish on the other end. Is that right? Far end.
Unless there's a bonus row. Pass we've been looking for. Last one of this field. Rabbit! So last year when I harvested the corn on this farm, we combined a deer. Check out that video. I believe it's called I Ran Over a Deer with My Combine or something like that. But that happened on this farm. No deer were harmed in the making of this one though. Almost ate that rabbit though. But back to the trucks we go.
180.7.
So we harvested 90 acres according to the ag leader on a field that's only 80 acres. I think Dad came on the radio and said he planted 78 acres. Well, pretty sure I figured out what happened. I was trying to create regions in the field. Basically, I wanted to have a yield data set for the middle of the field and the end rows of the field, because we had 2 different varieties in this field. One of them was planted on the ends and in the middle. One of them was just in the middle of the field. So it really isn't fair to compare those 2 varieties when you're figuring the ends when you have tree lines all around the field. And I think when I did that, I accidentally screwed something up, because we definitely counted one of those regions twice on accident. I don't know. I think it was the end rows. I think we ended up with too many end rows. I don't know. Don't know what happened or how it happened, but that's what happened. Lock the door because we don't want no hanky-panky in the tractor cab while we're not here. Well, folks, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, do me a favor and thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.